it's me, Kasey. I am the Animal Care Manager and Certified Vet Tech here at Zen Habitats, and I am back to bring you another episode of Kasey Talks Critters. This is our 10th episode, if you could believe it, and I wanted this episode to be a little bit special. So before I get into that, I am going to do my normal spiel and tell you to like our channel, subscribe to it, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified for more content like this. And while you're at it, subscribe to our other social media platforms. We pump out so much content of reptile education and fun videos, and I want to share them with you, so make sure you're subscribed to all of those channels. This episode is going to be super special. We are going to be spilling the tea with a very special guest. If you caught episode 1 of Kasey Talks Critters, you were introduced to Emlock from Emzotic, and she is back with me today, and we are going to be spilling the tea on things that we've learned as professional reptile keepers. So let's get started. Hi, Em. I'm so happy for you to be back with me. How are you today?
I'm really well, Kasey. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm here to not spill the tea, but spill my hot chocolate.
Oh, very nice. I have some black tea with some milk and sugar. It's my favorite.
Delicious.
Yes. Wonderful. So I guess for our fans that may not have caught episode 1, why don't you give me a little bit of background on how you started working with animals and your current job working with them now?
Sure thing. So I have a very long and varied career with animals, and to give you the condensed version, I started working with feral dogs when I was about 11 years old, and I would train them and rehabilitate them and then place them in new homes. I then, a few years later in London, I was working on film sets, training animals for film sets, and that was a lot of fun, and I kind of just stepped over into animal education, where I would take animals into schools and give educational talks about ecosystems and conservation and adaptation, which was my favorite. And I just eventually took that digitally, and now I run the YouTube channel Emzotic, where I draw on all my experiences from the animal training to my zookeeping days, and I just share fun facts and pet tips about animals.
Oh, lovely, Em. I know you have had such a wide career and so much life experience within these different things, and it's just amazing, and it makes you such a good content creator because you bring the best stuff to your channel. And if you guys aren't following Emzotic, you need to get over to her channel as well and subscribe to it, because so much good content. I promise you guys will love it.
Thank you so much, Kasey. And you are also just such an inspiration for me. I know how much you do there at Zen Habitats, being the animal care manager, and all of your different, I'm sure we'll get into them later, but all of your different experiences as well. Just so inspirational. So
wonderful.
Big love to you.
Oh, we are going to have such a great episode. So make sure you guys have your hot cocoa, your tea, get that popcorn. I'm going to wait right here while you go make your popcorn and get nice and cozy, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, are you ready? We're about to spill all of the tea. I cannot wait. I'm going to munch on all of this popcorn. I can't wait for these juicy stories. So I guess let's get started, Em. This is a fun question from one of our fans. What is your least favorite animal to work with?
I know exactly which one it is, and I feel bad saying that because I feel like I'm supposed to say I love all animals equally, they're great. There is one that I will never work with again, and that is meerkats. I won't work with meerkats again. I used to raise meerkats from when they were, bottle-fed babies all the way up to animal education ambassadors, and they're just next level crazy, and when they take a dislike to you, they really take a dislike to you. And I've taken so many bites from so many animals in my life. Meerkats, when it's a meerkat, it is personal and it really hurts, and I've had a meerkat hanging off the inside of my inner upper thigh. Worst bite of my life. Do not recommend. They're hilarious animals, but there's a reason why they're called gangs or mobs of meerkats, and that's how they behave, and they just no, I just won't work with them again.
That is so funny, Em. Now, I have never worked with meerkats, but I have very similar squirrel stories. So I did wildlife rehab, and I have had more squirrel bites than any other bite from any other animal. I think your thigh one, my closest one was I was opening an enclosure to put in food or something, and the squirrel decided to jump out and latched onto my collarbone. I don't. It's funny.
It sounds painful.
It's horrible. So as you know, squirrels are rodents, so they have those really large incisors and those really strong cheek muscles to break nuts and stuff. So when they latch on, they do not let go.
Oh, maybe they just thought you were a tasty snack.
It's fine. I mean, over the years, I have raised probably close to 1,000 baby squirrels. For the adults, I will never work with another adult squirrel if I don't have to.
Were these gray squirrels?
Yes, they were eastern gray squirrels, which are native to here in New England. We also have red squirrels. Those guys are a little bit more flighty.
Yes, I did notice that in the UK as well. Obviously, our native squirrels in the UK are the red squirrels, and then they got outperformed and outcompeted by the invasive grey squirrel. But I've noticed that the grey squirrels are just a bit more gutsy and also faster to bite. And you're right, like just that pressure, that perfect pressure.
Yeah. Rodent teeth. Yep, absolutely. So, while we're on the subject of bites, what is the weirdest animal you've been bitten by?
Gosh, I think that's a really good question. Probably the weirdest animal for other people to know that I've been bitten by would probably be giant Indian fruit bats. And these were really interesting because these fruit bats, if you literally their bodies are like this big, they're huge, they're like a bowling pin, and they have this incredible just like aroma to them. It's almost like a deep coffee smell that's very earthy, a little bit herbal. But I would hand raise them, and for a couple of months out of every single year, I would wear a hairband just like this under my sweater and under like a gilet vest thing that you zip up, and I'd keep the babies there so that they could be close to me and bond with me, and I could bottle feed them a couple of hours every day. But as they grew, they would also get very mouthy, and of course, being fruit bats, they don't suck blood, their teeth are not designed really to crunch through your fingers, but their favorite pastime as they would teeth, because they would teeth, would be to just chew on me wherever they could. So I've been bitten all over, like all over by fruit bats, and the cutest thing. And they've just got like really leathery cheeks, and so it's not like a bad bite or an unpleasant bite. It's kind of like being gummed with little blunt teeth by something that smells intensely like coffee and is very leathery. And so that was a very interesting experience.
I'd say I wish I had that kind of sky puppy interaction. I've only worked with native bats, like little browns and big browns. Yeah, little tiny bats, which surprisingly will eat about 30 mealworms a sitting if you keep feeding them.
That's really interesting. You know, the giant Indian fruit bat colony that I looked after, we had about 30 bats. And between them, they might have 20 honeydew melons and grapes, a few bunches of grapes, lots of bananas, lots of oranges, which was not their favorite. They saved oranges till last. But also had Egyptian fruit bats, and it was a smaller amount of Egyptian fruit bats, maybe 20 of them, but they ate twice the amount of the giant Indian fruit bats.
It's amazing. It's crazy how much bats eat, whether they are insectivorous or fruit bats. Their metabolism is so high, they need to pump in tons of food, and they poop so much.
All the time. And the great thing about them is when they need to go to the bathroom, they'll turn upside down, usually, like the right way up, which is really weird to see. So I'd always know when they needed to go, and I could just like unzip my sweater and let them out, and they could go do their business. I'd literally hold them. Sometimes I'd be in the car driving, like holding them, and then having like one hand out the window while they were doing their business, and then they'd just like go back up there, zip them up, back on the road.
It's funny when you work with enough animals, especially babies, you know their cues. Oh, we have Zoe right now. She's waving to Chi right now. So,
She's so cute.
oh, are you stressed out, honey? Okay. Well, so because our female bearded dragon can see our male bearded dragon where I'm sitting, we're actually going to go put her away so that we're not stressed out right now. So be right back, guys. I think that's fascinating. I kind of wish that I was bit by a bunch of bats. Like, that's so cute.
Only you, Kasey, only you.
I just love them. So I have a bunch of really great questions from our fans, and some of these, are going to be a little uncomfortable because it's going to be about our learning curves and, the roadblocks that we may have hit over time and failures that we have learned from. So we're going to kind of segue a little bit into that. So I would love for you to tell me a story, Em. What is one thing that you deeply regret in your animal keeping or your animal career? Something that, I know it's tough. It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. There are multiple things that I regret. And I would say a lot of people who work with animals do have multiple regrets because you're looking after lives. And for me, I think the biggest regret that I have is the one time that I didn't quarantine a snake that I brought home here, like literally in this room, and it had, gosh, let me remember, cryptosporidium.
Oh.
It had crypto, and it infected so many of my animals because I was washing all the water bowls together, and I just should have quarantined it a bit longer than I originally did. Maybe if I had quarantined it another 3 or 4 weeks, I would have caught it, but I didn't. And unfortunately, it wiped out all of my red-tailed green rat snakes, of which I had 4 at the time, and that was a really big wake-up call for me that I have to look at my protocols here at home, because in a work environment, you kind of are in that work mindset, but I work from home now, and as much as I will draw on my experiences as a zookeeper, it's easy to get complacent in your own collections of animals, and that was just when I realized I don't know everything. I am not perfect as a keeper. There's so much to learn, and even the most experienced person, which I am not, I'm always learning, can miss something. So it's good to keep learning and never take it for granted when you have a healthy collection, and never take it at face value that an animal you bring home or into a workplace is healthy, because reptiles especially are masters of disguise. So you just don't know if they are holding something unless you're running your fecals or drawing blood samples, and also taking swabs of their enclosures as well. You can't be certain.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and that's absolutely devastating. And it happens. It is something that, we're like, oh, like, not that we're saying that we're overconfident, but we're like, oh, we did some quarantine, I think, I'm okay, I think we're okay, but like, it is super important, like, there's a reason why we do it, right?
Do you have one, just so I'm not by my notes?
Yes, of course I do. For me, my biggest regret, and this is going to sound horrible, but I love her to pieces, it was my first bearded dragon. I was not in an appropriate lifestyle, I guess, to take in a pet reptile. I thought it was okay. Like, I was taking care of animals all day for my job. I was like, I think it's time for me to get a pet reptile. And, I did not interact with her as much as I should have in those early months. So now I have a 7-year-old bearded dragon that I can barely hold.
Oh, wow.
She is very spicy. And, I regret not taking the time with her and really socializing her when she was younger. So I think that's my biggest regret. And it's more like, I don't regret having her. I love her, but I maybe wasn't in the best point in my life to take on an animal, like an additional animal. Wow.
You see, I kind of read that a little bit differently. Because something that I've seen with a lot of my followers is they'll say, my Crested gecko doesn't like it when I hold them. But there are definitely a lot of reptiles where no matter how much handling you do, they're just not going to appreciate being handled. So maybe that is honestly just her personality. And you can't know for sure that if you had invested more time, that she would have tamed down. So I'm just gonna 50-50 that one and say maybe she would have calmed down, but maybe she also just likes her own space.
It's
And that's
possible.
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. And and it's okay. We are coexisting. We're fine. She is healthy and happy in her environment. But you're absolutely right. I wouldn't know unless we did things a little bit differently. But yeah, no, there's definitely animals that do not like it, do not like to be held. We all have one.
Me.
Yeah, don't touch
Touching. Thank you.
Ew, ew. That is wonderful. Okay, that was kind of sad. So let's go to something happy.
Like it.
What is your dream reptile?
Okay. I would love to keep mangrove snakes.
Oh.
Mangrove snakes, if you can't visualize them, imagine like a pretty well thick body, really shiny, raised black scales, like jet black scales, and then bands of yellow down the body. That's like the classic quintessential mangrove snake. And they are rear fang venomous, so unfortunately in Colorado you can't keep rear fang venomous. But for me, I've seen them in the wild, literally hanging over the trees above water, like literally in mangroves. And they're just stunning snakes. And honestly, not that difficult. And a couple of 4x2x4 Zen habitats together, great enclosure for them. So that is on my list. I just need to move somewhere where I can actually keep mangrove snakes.
Yes, sounds good.
What,
I think.
what about you? What's your dream reptile?
So mine would be one of the Hydrosaurus species, or species. I'm not exactly sure which one, but I love sailfin dragons. They are just the most beautiful. If you're not familiar with them, they're just these big iguana-like lizards with these big, beautiful sails, and they just have these awesome, there's some that are just all black with these blue eyes. Oh God, they're just gorgeous, and some have iridescence and blue to them. Oh my God, they're just so beautiful.
And they look like dinosaurs, truly, they just look plucked out of Jurassic Park.
Yes, exactly. It's like if you took down, I'm not really good with my dinosaur names, but I'm picturing which dinosaur I think it is, and it's like you took that big dinosaur and just weep.
Wait, is it the one that kind of looks like a stegosaurus, but with a fin back?
Yeah,
yes.
that.
I feel you on
I don't remember what it is. So if you guys in the comments, or if you're watching this in the live chat, educate me. Tell me what dinosaur I'm talking about, because I don't know what it is. But I would, it is something that I could potentially do. We just did a Kasey Talks Critters episode about sailfin dragons. I would need a lot of space. I would probably put together 4x2x4 enclosures to make an 8x4x4. So even though they're arboreal, they do benefit from having more horizontal space than the vertical space. So it would have to be a very large enclosure if I was to do that.
Definitely, and I think that would be a direct replica of the Tegu enclosure. Is that correct? That looks so good.
Oh, I think it would be. I'm just picturing branches everywhere. Just maybe a little waterfall too, because.
Yes, please.
I know, right? I'm they need super high humidity, so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna make this big gorgeous enclosure, maybe I'll do a water feature, right?
Have to.
Yeah. This is long-term planning. This is not happening anytime soon.
We're manifesting, we're putting it out there.
Yes. 10-year goal. So maybe this is another story if you want to talk about. Is there a species that you really wanted, only to discover that you weren't a good fit together?
Yes, there is. And It's probably a really difficult story. I'm going to try not to get too emotional, but just I keep the lessons and try to move past the emotion. But for me, a few years ago, some of you who are watching may or may not remember, I had a rescued red-billed hornbill called Grinchy. And Grinchy was imported from Africa by wholesalers here in the USA. It's completely legal to do that. There's nothing illegal about it, unfortunately. But to take a wild caught bird from the plains of Africa and put them in an enclosure in the middle of New Jersey where there's not much light, half the year it's cold and overcast, it just wasn't a good fit for him. So whilst he bonded to me and I got him to get beautiful plumage, he was, thriving for a while. He just kept getting reoccurring bacterial infections and they would affect his respiratory system. And every time we gave him more antibiotics, I think it just sort of lowered his immune system more. And I came to the conclusion that he had acclimated okay for a wild bird into captivity, but my climate was too humid, too cold for him. So I was arranging for somebody in Florida to be able to take him, because that would have been far more suitable for him, for what he was used to, even though he'd been in captivity 2 years at this point. But he sadly passed away before I could get him down there. And if he'd only maybe made it another 2-3 months, maybe he would have still been with us. But he taught so many people the importance of not just looking at, do I have the ability to accommodate the animal, whatever it is, but is this climate right? Because even if you have a great aviary outdoors here in Colorado, a macaw is still not going to thrive. Not really. You need something indoors as well, and a lot of different lighting. And then of course, if the animal has come from the wild as well, it might not acclimate. And that is the harsh truth about so many animals that come in from the wild. So he was an animal that I will always love and remember very fondly, but I'll also, as much as I try to do good for him, I'll never not remember to really look at, can I provide overall for this animal? Not just do I have the money, so I had the money for him, I had the enclosure for him, he had a beautiful aviary, but I could not control the weather for him. And that was very difficult.
No, absolutely. And that is very sad, and I'm sorry about Pinky.
It's okay. He lives on, and he's in bird heaven now, hopefully having all the worms, because we all when she likes his worms.
Oh, good. I know. It is tough. It is tough when we take care of exotic animals that are not from our climate at all. And reptiles, I don't want to say it's easy. It's a little bit easier to mimic with light bulbs and different heating elements, etc. Birds are a whole nother thing. Birds are so different and very fragile. There's a lot, we talk about reptiles being fragile and getting sick and hiding things. Birds, whole nother story. They are very good at telling or not telling you they're sick until they are basically down and out. And then you're like, oh, great, here we go. So I understand, and it's also because birds are such efficient animals, their body systems, their breathing, their respiratory system is so efficient. So when we're introducing a new environment, new smells, new just atmosphere, it can do other things to them too. Yeah.
Right. And that's, part of the difficulty with acclimating a wild bird is they're so good for what they are built for in the space that they have adapted for. And whilst he probably would have thrived more if he had been born and raised in captivity, taking a bird from the wild and then bringing them into a captive setting, very tough. I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. There's plenty of places that need to rehabilitate critically endangered birds, but for specifically the pet trade, that was not a good species to bring in. And most people I know who have this species have had big difficulties with that.
Yeah, so sad. So this is another reason why we really try to promote purchasing captive bred animals just in general. It's another, I'm just going to drive that part home. It's easier. I don't want to say easier. Easier is not the right word. It is just, I feel like less traumatic for you and the animal, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to set yourself and the animal up for success. And with any animal that's born and raised in captivity, you're already setting them up for more success than taking one that has learned to survive on its own and is in fight or flight mode all the time, and then putting it in a setting where everything is different, where it's never maybe even seen a human before, and suddenly it's bringing you food that you are not familiar with.
Yeah.
That must be very confusing for an intelligent species.
Oh, I'm sure. And especially like where I worked with wildlife and wildlife rehabilitation. So we only had our animals for a short period of time. And there is a huge difference on how those animals react to you versus a collection of, I don't want to say not domestic, but captive animals. Yeah. Yeah, big difference. I'm just trying to think, like, I had so many that just, were wild. Like, were absolutely wild. Like, I've worked with coyotes and foxes and stuff, and like,
Love coyotes. Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous. I've never worked with coyotes. Are they
so cool.
more like fox-like or wolf-like?
I've never worked with wolves.
Oh, okay.
So I would say they're kind of fox-like, but I feel like foxes are another very flighty animal. They're just so all over the place. Like the coyote seems to be a little bit more like standoffish, like do not come near me. Like,
That is so interesting that you say that, because I've noticed a huge difference in the behavior of foxes between the USA and the UK. Now, urban foxes here in the USA, they're small and flighty. Now, our London foxes are massive. They look almost like coyotes that I see here, but with shorter legs. And they are so gutsy. And they'll just like walk down Oxford Street in the middle of the day, just like, what's up? And they'll trade the bins. And people will feed them, and that's part of the reason why they're so acclimated. But they're also, they don't have to compete with coyotes or wolves. Their closest competitor would probably be just the average house cat, or maybe in the sticks are European badgers. But they don't have any reason to fear anything. They're just bold and brazen.
So funny. That is so funny. I never really thought about that in that sense. But I've only been to the UK once. I went to Scotland a few years ago, and the only thing that I compared were the gulls. I compared our gulls to their gulls. And I feel like our gulls are a lot fatter and a lot bolder and totally fine with stealing everything from you, where the Scottish gulls were they were more scared.
If you want to have really good time with gulls, go down to the south of England, Brighton Beach, and buy yourself some nice chips, or potato fries,
French fries.
And just stand there and wait and see what happens. Promise to do that. Promise me you'll do that one day.
I think it would be really fun. I would love to be mobbed by a bunch of gulls.
You will be. They'll practically take off with you.
That sounds like a dream, actually. I think that's so funny. I really love gulls. I think they're just a really cool bird.
Well, I just have a thing about their feet. I feel like I want them just to touch me with their feet. Like,
their little slappy feet.
With their feet. I'd be so happy. Or if you were supposed to start a new business venture where you just get them to like walk on your back for a massage, just like flap, 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 flap. It'd be so cute.
It is so funny. For our fans who don't know, gulls also do a rain dance, which is the funniest thing. So make sure you Google it. It's the funniest thing. So when it rains, the gulls sit there and stamp their feet trying to get the earthworms to come up. So it's usually like after the rain or before the rain, because I guess it's trying to trick the earthworms into thinking that water's hitting the ground so that they'll come up. But it's just the birds dancing, getting
Now
their
I want to be a gull next Halloween. I'll just go around stamping my big, like, flat feet and just confusing everyone. That would be the scariest thing anybody sees.
Yeah, I think that's a great Halloween costume. Please dress up like a gull. Oh, great. So that was really funny. here's something that maybe we can both discuss. So, how do you regain confidence in your reptile keeping after something tragic happens?
Okay. I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but you have to take the lesson and leave the emotions, because I'll give myself 10 minutes of tears. I'm going to cry this out really badly for 10 minutes, and then we get back to work and we figure out what went wrong and we fix it and we don't make that mistake again. You will always make mistakes, always, with your animal care. It is just one of those things. But the idea is to make new mistakes and not to repeat old mistakes. And I think as long as you're always trying to improve and learn and take accountability, then that's the best thing you can do to honor those animals that you might feel like you've let down in the past. It's just to be better. And don't make excuses to yourself, just do the work and be better.
Yeah. I think for me, I want to talk about being more proactive, like before a tragedy might happen. I think the most important thing about animal keeping is that you are number one and you need to take care of you first. And because you cannot take care of your animals if you can't take care of yourself. So even if this is after something tragic does happen, take the time that you need for yourself. Things are going to happen. It's okay. You're going to be sad. But take the time and work on yourself and work through that before you make commitments to others.
Yes.
And that means other animals. So like if you need help from friends and family, ask for help. Like if you just need someone to walk around your reptile room and feed everyone just once for you, ask for help. It's very important that you take care of you.
Definitely. And also that animal keepers also look out for one another. I posted this reel a couple of weeks ago, it showed from the point of view of someone walking around a normally clean animal room that their friend might have, and then a song chimes in and says, "I've got my eye on you." So I think we should all keep an eye on one another and not be so judgmental. If you realize that a friend of yours might be struggling and their dog looks a little bit more matted than usual, or the nails are a little bit longer, or something's going on, just let them know, "Hey, I'm here for you. Do you need help? Should we do a Netflix evening where we just like go on podcasts or Netflix and I'll help you clean your animal room?" What's going on? Sometimes people just need that little bit of help to get them over that hump, especially those who have depression, which I know very, very well. I have bipolar too. Some weeks I'm really up and I'm on my game, and other weeks I'm like, I haven't brushed my teeth in 2 days, and that's gross. But if you're not able to like move past your depression, just having a little bit of help from outside can make all the difference. So it's good to look out for each other as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all in it for the critters, right?
Yeah.
We're all in it for the critters. So if anyone asks me to come clean their reptile room, I'll be right there. Like,
heck yeah, cleaning party.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, you just need that body double. You just need someone to stand in there with you while you get your stuff done. And that's okay.
Yeah, and I think it's also a really great moment just to say that kindness really goes so far in the animal community. And I've seen it for myself that a lot of people can be very judgmental and say, well, if you're having a hard time, you should just rehome all your animals. I don't believe that. I do believe that you should rehome your animals if you know that going forward you can't give them the best life and you're really struggling. Then there's no shame in that, in finding new homes. But also being more understanding with people, that nobody is the perfect keeper. Nobody. Everybody has made mistakes. Everybody struggles sometimes when life throws you a curveball that you're not expecting. Or when ferrets start eating each other. Stop it. Newport is being taught a lesson by Dobby. So just remembering that you can make the world of difference just by saying, "I got you, I'm here for you," no judgment, but you could try and do this to improve here or there. That is all it takes to make a huge difference.
Yeah. So, I love this community so much. It's so good. Well, that was really good. We've talked a lot about some really deep stuff. So I want to switch to something funny just so we can keep this emotional roller coaster going.
Let's go for it. Let's feel all the emotions today.
I know, it's so much fun. If you could, which extinct animal would you like as a pet?
I have such a great answer for. Okay, so if I could, I would bring back the thylacine. And the reason why I would do that is because we still have the thylacine's natural habitat for the most part. They were one of the last larger mammals to go extinct. And I think that it would be viable to bring them back and to do better a second time round. So I would totally Jurassic Park that and not ask why we do and just I just do it. I just would. I would bring back the thylacine and they would be my squishies and I would have them pull a carriage down the road and that would be my mode of transport with thylacine.
With their big weird jaws and stuff. That would be so cool.
Those would be my trusty noble steeds.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely do that. 100% the thylacine.
I love that. I love that so much.
Now your turn. I need to know yours.
God, I don't know. This is so hard. I think I would want another large bird. So I would go with the dodo just because I want another. I just want another giant bird.
No, you know what would happen if you know what would happen is people, because they went extinct, because was it the Dutch who came and ate them all? I can't remember who ate
Something.
them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry if it wasn't the Dutch. It may have been the French. Who knows? But people would just get so curious, like, did the dodo actually taste that good? And they'd be the new, like, turducken dodo. Don't bring them back. They can't survive.
They won't survive. No.
That would be really cute. Like, I could totally see you just, like, walking down the street with a bunch of dodos behind you in height order. Like, you could be Mama Goose or Mama Dodo, and they could all just be following you. That'd be really cute.
So fun. I just go back to the scene in Ice Age when, like, you know, that's their, like, last female, like, falls over.
Last melon, and there goes our last female.
Sorry.
The Kung Fu dodos.
Poor dodos. That's why I want them back, because they're poor things.
We have to give them a second chance.
Yes,
we'll
they
just
need a
keep them
second
away from
chance.
my thylacine.
Yeah. I mean, thylacines are so cool, and, like, the fact that it is possible, it's totally possible, is really amazing.
I know. Okay. Split second question. I know that technically this is your interview, but I just have to throw it out there. Do you believe that they could still be out there?
I mean, there's so much land that hasn't been looked at. Like, there's so much. Like, it's totally possible that there's, like, little pockets of them that just haven't been discovered. It's possible.
I'm hoping, and if they are out there, I hope they stay hidden.
Yes.
Because it's kind of cool to have that mystery, and we know that they existed.
Yeah.
You know, you get Bigfoot sightings here and there, and I'll save my opinions on that, but we know that thylacine existed, and there's still footage of them, and it's totally possible that maybe there's, like, a little pair out there somewhere just defying the odds. I love that. I'm hoping.
It, like, makes my heart feel good to think that, you know, like, there's a small little colony or little family, and they're just thriving and doing their thing, and yeah, I mean, it's very possible. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Australia, not New Zealand, right? Or is it New Zealand?
Oh, the thylacine?
Yeah.
I want to say it's New Zealand.
Okay.
I think it might just be that general area. I actually don't know too much about the locations that they have been.
Yeah.
Maybe it was at Tasmania, because then there was, like, the Tasmanian wolf, I think. I could be getting my wires crossed.
If you guys in the comments know where the thylacine is actually from and you want to let us know, definitely drop those in the comments. I know we can Google it, but you're a bunch of smarty pants out there, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. So, what is your opinion on zoos and aquariums?
I have very strong opinions on zoos and aquariums.
Most animal keepers do.
So, I think that they are necessary, but it depends on the quality and the standard of what constitutes a zoo. For example, I've been past some homes that have been, on the side of the road turned into a petting zoo, and it's very sad, and they don't have the correct setups or funding, and I don't agree with that, just because I do think sometimes the animals suffer. But there are some great zoos out there. I've visited them. I have friends who've worked in them. I've also been a zookeeper in my time, but they do so much good work, and work that happens behind the scenes. And yes, a lot of zoos need to have the showstoppers. They want to have lions and elephants, and those are the money makers. Unfortunately, they get people through the doors to learn more about conservation. So I understand that, but the really cool stuff happens behind the doors, and people don't get to see that. Breeding projects that have brought back animals on the brink of extinction and reintroducing them into the wild, and that wouldn't be possible without zoos. Now, how the zoos actually operate, that's another thing. I personally quit being a zookeeper because I cared so much about the animals in my charge, but they were not mine, and I couldn't allocate the budget. And if I knew something needed to change, I did not have the power and authority to allocate budget to expand an enclosure or to do another medical test that I felt was necessary. That laid with people who didn't have zoology degrees, who didn't really ever spend a day hands-on with animals in their lives. They're just, due to good old-fashioned nepotism, up there at the top of the ladder, pulling the strings, deciding where the budget goes, normally on a big Christmas party and a bunch of bonuses. So that's why I quit. But I do still love zoos, and I have so much respect for zookeepers. It's a great job. I just hope that they increase wages, look after their zookeepers more. If you ever visit a bunch of zookeepers, take cake. They appreciate cake in their break rooms. Cake is like a thing in the zookeeping world. If you bring in cake, you got this. You're a part of the group. But yeah, they are necessary. They just need to be run more efficiently, and to have a governing body that truly has animals looking out, has the well-being of animals at the forefront of their minds, and not lining the pockets of the few at the very top.
And I think to that point, and this is something that I personally do, I only attend zoos and aquariums that are AZA accredited. So in the US here, that is an accreditation that they have to go through. They have to be top-notch with their breeding programs, with just everything, their biosecurity, so much. And in order to get that certification, they have to go through all of that. So I feel more confident knowing that they're doing the right thing if they've already gotten that accreditation. So that's where I choose, like if I'm visiting another state or something, and I love going to the zoo. I love it so much. I definitely always check their AZA accreditation.
Definitely. And it's also great to go to some of the smaller AZA accredited zoos as well. I mean, there's actually the Butterfly Pavilion here in Colorado, and most people would think Denver Zoo, which is a great zoo. They go to the zoo and they think Butterfly Pavilion, I'm going to go see a bunch of butterflies. There's so many cool things about butterflies, and they have the most butterfly house in, I'd say probably in the USA. Like, just go and try something new and enjoy animals that you know are not in your face awesome, like a lion or a bear. Go and check out a butterfly house.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
No, I agree 100%. I think, there here in Massachusetts we have a small zoo in one of the towns that is also AZA. It's a very, very tiny zoo, but they are AZA accredited, which is like so amazing. So it's like you can get the experience, like you can get to see so many different types of animals. It's just, I just like to try to support the ones that are doing the work. That's all. I just, because obviously it always comes down to money. This is the world that we live in. They need that money for conservation. So if I'm going to pay an admission fee, I want it to go to a good cause. Like, I want it to go to something that I feel makes me feel good inside.
There we go. That's really important. I love that.
Yeah. So the last question that we have from our fans, it's another tough one. What would you say was your biggest fail as an animal keeper?
Oh, my biggest fail. Over the years, has been not keeping up to date with the most current information, because as you work in certain fields, you gain you gain experience and you gain knowledge from so many people, and it's easy to go, well, I know dogs and I know this, but you have to keep on learning. And even in the space of 2 or 3 years not learning even more about ferrets, I thought I knew a lot about ferrets. I learned a ton by going into Facebook groups and learning about newer studies that have come out since I first started learning about them and working with them, even though I've worked with them, bred with them, not bred with them, but bred them and hunted with them. But yeah, that's probably my biggest fail, is at points thinking I'm done learning it and getting a little bit complacent, and then kind of having to look inside myself and going, are you sure you know everything? Really? And you kind of want to feel that way, and you think you know a lot, but do you really know it all? No, the answer is no. So I'd say that is the biggest fail that anybody can make, is thinking they're done learning. You're never done learning. Never. Ever, 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 ever. You can read every book, every blog. There's always something else to learn. Always.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the standard of care changes. We learn things all the time. Like, I have to say, like, okay, so my 7-year-old bearded dragon, when I purchased her, a 40-gallon enclosure was the standard. Red lights were standard. Like, and it's all things that we wouldn't do now. And that was less than a decade ago.
Yeah. And if anybody who's listening goes, well, I'm using a 40-gallon, or, well, what's wrong with red lights? Do more research. Like, right now, like, open up another tab and go and do some more research, because there's still going to be a ton of places that say that red lights are great. They're not. They don't really benefit anybody. They're a bit of a nuisance. They don't really look that good either. So just don't do it. Listen to your Auntie M. Don't do it.
Yes, Auntie M says no. The way I like to think about the red light situation for our fans that might be questioning it is just imagine, like, have you ever been in a red room, like a red lit room? You can't tell the colors of anything. You can barely tell the depths of things. And imagine being a little lizard and that's all you see. So that's how I think of it. Again, but it's all stuff that we had to learn. But learning is okay. And if you're doing things not appropriately, I don't want to use not appropriately, but like, if things might not be like the top standard, don't beat yourself up. You are learning. You are learning.
What are Zen friends for?
Oh, how sweet. Yay, Zen friends. Oh, it has been a pleasure. This talk was so much fun. I love spilling the tea with you. This was a super, super fun episode. All of our fans enjoyed it. Again, if you love this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and we have other social media platforms too, and we post on them all the time, so make sure you hit our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok. There's so much good content, and I can't wait to share the rest of it with you. Again, thank you for joining me. It has been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Kasey. I definitely answered questions here that there are other presenters I just wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable sharing it with. You have such a great energy. Thank you so much for making this such a great, like, safe space for sharing. And I hope everybody else enjoyed also listening to Kasey and I spilling the tea.
Of course, and we are live in the chat during the premiere of this video. So if you're watching this later, make sure you hit that little button so you can see what we talked about in the live chat. All right, thanks for watching.
Bye.